Hi and welcome to another game video, and in today's video I am taking a look at this. This is a Valve Steam Deck. I have to say it isn't mine. My son has just bought it and I am using it for video purposes. So I'm not a PC gamer. I've dabbled a little bit with Steam gaming on my laptop, but I'm not really that into it either. But I am a fan of portable and handheld consoles and, well, portable and handheld gaming. I wouldn't class this as a console. It's a portable PC, and it is handheld, but it is huge. So this is the Valve Steam Deck. It's original model. It's got 1 terabyte of storage. The specs of it are pretty decent. I know it's got 16 gig of RAM, and it's a really decent, capable machine. And he's wanted one for quite some time. And this is my first hands-on. I've seen them online, etc. But this is the first time I've actually had one in my hand and given it a go. So first impressions are, yeah, it is huge. But it's quite comfortable in the hand. You've got these sort of back ridges which make it really nice and comfortable to hold. You've got buttons everywhere on this thing. So you've got R4 and R5 on this side, and obviously L4 and L5. L4 and L5 on this side. You've got your usual shoulder buttons and your trigger buttons. The triggers are quite nice. I think the shoulder buttons could done with being a little bit more pronounced. They're quite flush. And then you've got your D-pad, which is right close to the edge, and your buttons, which actually sort of almost curve around the edge of the unit. But it's comfortable. And then you've got your 2 twin sticks, which are quite nice. And then these 2 little sort of trackpad, mouse button type things, which sort of do press in. And there's a couple of other buttons on here, which I'm sure you'll tell me what they're for. So you've got a button that says Steam.
So that's pretty much just a Steam menu and stuff like that.
Your little UMLA buttons.
I've not tried that out yet.
Okay. The options, is that an options button?
Yeah, sort of like a settings button or a menu button or a pause button.
And then there's what looks like a switch window button, but I don't know exactly what that's for. Generally looking over the device, you've got your
fan and speaker at the top.
Yeah, you've got your power button, you've got your charge USB-C, your volume rockers or volume buttons, and a headphone socket, and this fan, so I can't see any physical speakers anywhere. Oh yeah, I can, right on the front. So I would say that's an exhaust on the top there, and you've got an exhaust on the back there as well.
A rather large one. A rather large one.
Yeah, rather large one. But then this is a beast, and it's gonna kick out. I'm assuming that is your Steam dock connector. So that's just a quick look over it. Actually, it's got a screen protector on it, and you can see, like any touchscreen device, it is a huge fingerprint magnet.
Yeah, you've got fingerprints all over it.
So before I actually get into looking at the device itself, I'm just going to do a quick comparison in size to my Switch Lite, which, as I'm getting it out of this case, looks absolutely tiny in comparison. It weighs absolutely nothing compared to me. I mean, look at that. That is insane. So you've got the Steam Deck, and the Switch Lite will pretty much fit inside the screen. It's tiny in comparison. Thickness, next to nothing. Weight, this has got to weigh at least twice as much. But when you look around it, it's pretty similar. You've got your fan on the top and your buttons for your volume and your headphone. Obviously, you've got a card slot, which you don't have on Steam Deck because it's all download from the Steam store. Really can't do much more of a comparison, but I just wanted to show you size-wise just how huge the Steam Deck is compared to a Switch Lite, and even compared to a Switch. That's going to be a beast of a console. So let's get some of these hairs and fingerprints off. Oh, there we go. And we will turn it on and see what the menu is like.
There is a custom startup, by the way. This isn't how the Steam Deck comes.
This is your custom startup, is it? Or is it picked from a menu?
I got it with Steam points, so...
Oh, okay. So there we go, it is booting up.
It can take a while to boot up.
So it's a Steam Deck, it's made by Valve, it's running SteamOS, which is based off of Arch Linux. I'm a big fan of Linux, so I was quite intrigued by this. I did notice that it's got rumble in it, didn't realise that it's got feedback. And then you get faced with this is your home menu, I suppose. Battery indicator, date, time, Wi-Fi strength, messages, etc. Is that the Steam store? They're not your games, are they?
The ones at the top are.
What, so you've got these, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if we were to press the Steam button, would that launch the Steam store?
No, bring up menu.
Okay.
There you
Oh,
go.
I see.
So you get your library and everything you normally would on a PC, like Steam console. You'd get your menu on Steam and you'll be able to search the store and everything on it. Check your downloads.
Yeah, I can see that there. You've got store and library, so that's your stuff. Media. Don't think this has got any sort of camera or anything on, has it?
I don't
Nope.
think so, but I do think it can take screenshots. So.
Okay, so that'll be similar to the Switch where you can take screenshots and then that's in there, because the Switch doesn't have a camera either. It's touchscreen, is it not?
Yes, but
So you can go home and whatnot.
that is your home.
Yeah.
So if you press this button,
One of the trackpads.
this works exactly like a mouse does. Click down at the top of the button.
Oh, I see. So you have to... You click it down to hold it. Yeah, okay, so then...
And then you can also use the D-pad or the left stick.
Yep. And they're quite responsive sticks. I don't know if there's anything like stick drift on a Steam Deck, but they seem quite responsive, quite springy. I've had some sticks that are just quite sloppy in their movements. I quite find that the Xbox One controllers were quite sloppy in there.
They didn't ping back as quick as you'd need them to.
No, but this one is extremely springy. So let's go home and let's just boot up a game so we can get some indication. Have you got a fairly decent heavy game on here?
Heavy. You want heavy? We'll go for Fallout 4.
Okay, so from my experience, that looks like the Steam store.
And whenever you load a game, it'll tell you relatively what controls will be used.
Is that what they're showing on the
That
screen
is
there?
exactly what it's showing on the
So
screen.
sticks and buttons on that
Yeah,
one.
and it'll also be triggers as well. Triggers and bumpers. You can obviously, in certain games, you can obviously map the buttons to do certain different things.
Okay, let's get a bit of volume on that. So that looks very much like a Switch.
That's plenty.
Following total atomic annihilation, the rebuild.
So the speakers are on the front, as we found out earlier.
may fall to you.
Pretty decent.
That's why we at Vault-Tec have prepared these
Right.
educational
That is
materials
full
for
volume.
you to better understand the
That's
seven
pretty decent.
defining attributes that make you special.
Not too tinny, it's got quite a bit of bass to it. Let's just show you
It's
that.
time we talk about luck. The difference between whether you live or die.
If we're looking at screen quality, this is not the OLED version, but I think OLED consoles are just slightly overrated. I've had an OLED Vita, and I've now got a regular Vita, and it's not much different. You've got an OLED Switch, and it's a nice screen. I do think you get better colours and blackness, but it's not the be-all end-all of consoles. Can we skip this?
Yeah, press A.
Press A. Okay.
Very good quality on that.
I have never played Fallout in my life.
If you're going to use the touch screen, you're going to need rather large hands to reach the middle.
Yeah, that is a good point, because
Whereas his
your hands are, and you've got to get right the way across. More likely when I play like the Switch or whatnot, I hold it in one hand and use the touch screen that way. So if we just take a quick look at the level of graphics on there, I mean, this is a portable PC. you expect it to be decent.
And it
I
is.
think it's got something. It's a 7-inch screen, isn't it? 7.4 inch.
I think it's 7 or 7.2.
And it's got a 1280 by 800 resolution.
And it looks amazing.
It does. So I am now walking around. Yep, walking around is really hard to do this way. But you can see the level of quality of that screen, minus the reflection we've got there. The graphics are pretty decent. Fallout 4 is not a new game, is it?
No, but it was the heaviest game I've installed on it. You've just walked outside.
Well, that's about it for a walk around of the Steam Deck. I'm going to give you my impressions. It's big. I think if you were to play it for quite some time, it's got quite a weight to it. It probably would stress your arms out a little bit.
But if you're leaning on something,
Yeah, like I am now leaning on the edge of the table here.
if you
That
just
is-
lean on something, it'll alleviate that quite easily.
I think the size of it does. I mean, the sticks are still quite far across. You've got quite a lot of thumb stretch across for the sticks. Maybe it's just because I'm used to the Switch Lite with its sticks almost on the edge of the console, and obviously the Switch Lite is a lot smaller. I do like the placement of the D-pad and the XYAB buttons. I think being that close
To the sticks.
to the edge of the console itself, I think it is quite nice.
The D-pad is very responsive and it's a very comfortable D-pad to use.
But the layout of the controls as well, you've got your buttons and your D-pad right next to your sticks, which are just above the pads, which you can actually use.
In the game, you can use them to look around. Would be the other one.
So you've got a lot of options for controls. Obviously, like I said, we've got a lot of buttons on here, and there's buttons on the back, which
You can map to do whatever you'd want, I'd say.
it's a nice. I'm not going to call it a console because it isn't a console. It's a nice device. It is big, but then a lot of these consoles are, PCs are. You've got this. You've got the ROG Ally. You've got the MSI Claw. They're all chunky beasts. The difference between those and this is they're more Windows devices, whereas this is a Steam device, which I think heavily relies on getting things from the Steam store. I'm pretty sure you can sideload things in other ways.
It tells you on the thing that when you go onto the menu,
Yeah,
there's a thing for non-Steam games,
right. So
and it tells you can install things like Chrome and everything like that on it.
okay. Well, it's Linux based, so I'm assuming you could probably install some Linux apps, Linux version of Chrome, etc. It's a quick look. It's my first hands-on of a Steam Deck. First impressions are, it's big, it's heavy, it seems extremely well made. You get no sort of movement when you're sort of holding it. One thing I don't like about the full-size Switch is that it just feels like it's quite a flimsy, wobbly, especially with the removable Joy-Cons. Hence the reason I bought a Switch Lite, because it's a one unit, similar to this. The buttons are excellently placed, but you do need quite large hands, I think, to play it. I think you would get some kind of thumb stretching pain if you were playing it for quite some time. In terms of it's a powerful device, so the battery, you get anywhere between 3 and 12 hours depending on what you're playing on it. It does kick out quite a bit of heat. I mean, I don't know if you can hear that, but the fan has already kicked in, and I can feel that blowing quite a warm on the side of my face there, but that's to be expected.
And we are getting towards summer, so
Yeah, it is 20 odd degrees in here at the minute, so it's not cold. I'm quite impressed with it. The volume is decent. Obviously, if you're a Steam fan, then you're going to know what sort of games you can expect. You said earlier when you were loading things on, it doesn't play all Steam games. There are some
that it can struggle with, I believe. Some games that aren't exactly appropriate for the Steam Deck.
there are some games that are not Steam Deck compatible at all.
Yes.
Okay.
You get some that are You might have a little bit of a difficulty, but you just play through it. But there are some that just won't work. I think he's now trying to figure out how to stop this.
I am. I got it.
He's got it. When you've got the Steam Deck, you have 3 stages for the games. So something like Fallout 4, when you go to install it, it's got the Steam thing and a tick. So as you can see there, you've got a green tick next to the little Steam Deck symbol.
Next to what? What, on Fallout?
On Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Whereas if we could try and find one, Tmod, if you can see that, has a little yellow eye next to it, which means it is mildly compatible, but not entirely. Let's try and find one. Whereas DayZ is crossed out there, if you can see that.
So does that mean it's incompatible?
Yeah, it means it's incompatible with the Steam Deck.
Okay.
So it does tell you, even before you purchase the game, whether it is compatible on the Steam Deck or not, which is very helpful if you are looking for games just for your Steam Deck. It's obviously Steam based, so if you've already got a PC, you can install games that you've already bought.
Yeah.
As you probably saw there, if you've ever played Fallout 4, my dad was in Steam. It was in Diamond City. That was a save of mine that I had on my PC.
Oh, so it pulls everything across.
So it pulls everything across. Everything you play on the Steam Deck, you'll be able to then continue on your PC.
Well, there you go. Now I've learnt a few things, and like I say, I'm quite impressed with it. It's like a giant Switch light, and very heavy at that. So I'm now going to just power this off, because it's getting very warm. And that is a quick look. You can see my Switch light there. There we go, just for comparison size again. And there you go. That is a quick look at, well, my first ever look and hands-on for a Valve Steam Deck, original model, 1 terabyte upgraded, and there you go. So make what you want of it. It's not really my sort of console. I'm not going to keep calling it a console because I'm not a PC gamer and I'm not really a Steam fan. But if you are, this is a fantastic, I was going to say little thing, but it's not very little at all. It's huge. Link, like, subscribe, enjoy.